usually have, I mean, they're always featuring a lot of the entertainers that are from the event, and you get more of a personal experience with them too there. You know, it's like they're out there partying, having a good time. You get to see them in their element. I mean, people dancing, drinking, just like I said, it's basically just a club atmosphere with adult entertainers. So, you know, it's a little bit more wild. People are having a lot of fun. And, you know, like I said, I mean, the strip clubs, they have usually like, I mean, just back at, you know, New Jersey and stuff, they would do it at Sapphire in New York. And the after party there, they'd have 5 of the girls that, you know, are like some of the biggest starlets in the industry right now doing feature dancing there. So you get to kind of see your favorite performer in a different atmosphere doing like feature dancing, which is cool. And you get to see a lot of them all at once.
It is Jessika Elektra with us today here on Skype Audio. She joins us live. And Jessika, if people want to listen to you or interact with you, how do they do that exactly?
Well, they can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jessika Elektra, and that's JessikaElektra. And they also can find me on the MoRadioShow.com. It's TheMoRadioShow.com. Then right now we're actually on the Demon Seed Radio Network too, and that's on Tuned In. You can find there.
Now, how did you get involved with all of this? Because you sound like you are a, you know, like you would never hurt a fly. You're like the, you know, a wallflower kind of gimmick. How the hell did you end up around all these people? Because like and this is what's funny, and I don't know if I've ever told Michael this, but how I ended up kind of interviewing porn stars and being around porn stars is Ross started doing, we had to do video. Ross was all about video. He's like, well, the radio show, we got to do video. I don't know why we're doing video. I don't know why people watch other people do talk radio. I've never understood this. But but I had to do video, and so he's like, we got to do Skype calls. Phone calls are boring. We need to do Skype calls. So the only people that knew how to do Skype were porn people.
Really?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up interviewing all these people, being around these people. How the hell did you end up in this?
Well, like I said, I started off doing the radio show with Mo, and he had started off by just doing, you know, different events. He was in the radio industry for 20 years. He left terrestrial radio, and we started doing this podcast, and we really didn't know what we were doing at the beginning, just to be honest. You know, we're like, all right, well, let's try a podcast because you're a radio guy and you got a voice, and I was pretty much tech savvy, so that's where I was, you know, that was my part of it. And we started off just doing like different conventions, then we got into some rock festivals, and then we seen the Exotica was coming around to our area. Well, at the time, they were looking for people that knew the area, was familiar with the scene around here, and I started working with them to help them do their Columbus Expo in Ohio. And at the point that, like I said, at that point, I just kind of felt like I was, you know, it was a business move. It wasn't really like getting into working with the porn industry.
Yeah.
Well, the first night I was there, there was a comedy show that they did, and I was sitting there, and Akira Lane and Tori Lane were sitting there next to me. They started talking. They're like, oh, you know, hi, we're, you know, Tori and Akira, and they just befriended me. And next thing you know, I'm sitting there hanging out with Katie Morgan, Evan Stone, James Bartolet, and going out to dinner with them that night and hanging out and just partying. And I kind of just fell in love with these people. They were, like I said, they're literally the most intimidating people I could have ever met when it happened. But then they're like the biggest dorks too, you know, and they're normal people. And that's what I had to kind of, you know, I came to terms with. And then I, like I said, I fell in love with the industry because it is such an open environment, and it's somewhere where I feel comfortable talking to these people. I feel a connection with these people. I think I look at them a little differently than a lot of your typical fan people, even just the, you know, having the female mentality going into it, I guess. You see, you know, these people for more of who they are as people than you do, you know, the porn stars. I can't watch any of the porns where I know the people anymore. It messed my whole porn game up hard.
You know what's funny about that is the other day, I happened to bump into because I was uploading some of our interviews from the last AVN convention, and I have a backup account on Pornhub because YouTube will flag for anything. They will flag you for anything. We had a video where I interviewed someone and there was a nipple in the background on a sex doll.
What?
And they nailed us for that. So I uploaded Pornhub. And so while I was there, I'm like, well, I had like suggested videos. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, I know her. So I felt uncomfortable watching the porn. For the first time ever, I was uncomfortable watching porn because I knew the chick was getting banged. So I completely agree with you on, on that whole. It's a weird deal, isn't it?
It is. It's weird. It's like I don't want to watch my friends have sex. I don't.
So you don't like watching your own videos then?
By the way, are you in the industry? Are you just?
I'm not.
She's not.
Nope.
In the
I'm
industry.
just like
okay.
the outside girl looking at, and like I.
Like the
All my,
cheerleader.
like I said, my very best.
She's a cheerleader.
A porn cheerleader.
She's a porn cheerleader.
I am, and like I said, I work. Right now. What I'm starting to do, especially within the industry, with the recent, tragedies and everything, is I'm really working to advocate on the, mental health aspect that I feel like a lot of the industry has been missing lately, and working with the girls as they're getting into the industry and as they're getting out to help prepare them and better manage the stress that comes with being in an industry like this.
So question, are you planning to ever get into the industry yourself, or you just like it where you're at right now?
No, I'm pretty uncomfortable with the thought of having cameras on me while I'm having sex, so I feel like it probably wouldn't play out real well, but
it probably wouldn't play out too well.
No, it would just be like one of those awkward things where you're watching and you're like, what am I
watching? Well, is it something you would try or just something you wouldn't do at all?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I was opposed to it. I just don't think that I would be good at it.
You never know.
Fair enough.
Oh, Michael Naggy, you never know.
Well, you said like 2 years ago you used to be, uncomfortable talking about sex and stuff, and now you've moved past that, so you never know where you could move forward to in the future. That's what I was saying. Yeah,
well, I don't ever take anything off the table. I think that, as far as life goes, it's like when an opportunity comes your way, it's like you take it. But in the same sense, I feel like a lot of even what I'm trying to work with these girls on is, understanding the fact that once you enter the industry in that way, that it is a life-changing experience, and your life will never be the same.
Oh yeah, it's permanent. I mean, no, it's all over the internet and social media.
Like that stuff is forever, and there's a lot of consequences that come with that. So it's like that's something that it's like I take very seriously, and I feel like, as far as me personally at this point in my life, I couldn't see that working for me. And it's like, and I don't, obviously condemn anybody that it works for. I think it's great. I think that there are some people in the industry that have themselves together so much better than most people do. And then there are some people that just really have a hard time understanding what they're getting into, especially, it's like the young girls getting into the industry. They're so young that it's like at their age, I couldn't have imagined making that decision in my life and knowing that that was going to change my life forever. So it's like I want to work with these girls on making sure that they know what they're doing when they're getting into it. They understand,
Yeah, it's whatever you're comfortable with, what they're comfortable with. It's just
it's like once you get into this industry, it's like you will always be a part of this industry, whether you leave it or not. And like even just the financial planning of it, and everything. It's like you're gonna have a much harder time getting a civilian job after you come into the industry. You need to think about these things before you get into the industry. Once you're making your money, you need to learn how to save your money so that you're not wasting it all, because at the end of this is it for you. Exactly. I mean, and that's kind of what I want to work with these people on, is just helping understand that, plus finding opportunities outside of the industry once they are finished, and how to work past it and how to get the support system that you need in place so that you can, have a good exit strategy.
Mm-hmm. Well, but before we let you go, my friend, social media, websites, everything, how do we get a hold of you, my friend?
Hi, at Jessika Elektra on Twitter and Instagram. Also at the Mo Radio Show on Twitter, the Mo Radio Show podcast on Instagram, and also themoradioshow.com.
Fantastic. Well, we will get this. We'll get the full audio interview up on our website. We'll get bits and pieces of the video that I was allowed to actually take because the computer kept restarting on my ass. I'll tell you, you gotta love technology. I just wish that we could go back to the typewriter.
I'm looking you up right now.
Go back, tonight, I'm on the Demon Seed Radio Network.
Yes.
And I am with Foxy tonight. She's going to be talking about her AVN nominations and a lot of other fun stuff. So,
fantastic.
Check that out.
Well, I appreciate you making time for us today. I look forward to chatting with you more. And thanks for joining us. And we will talk to you in the new year, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Sounds good. You guys have a good day.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
There goes Jessika Elektra on Skype. And we are going to, we have got a hell of a deal. We are going to go to here in just a second. Oh, this is going to be